Hey, good to see you, my friends. This is Lucas here, of course. Now, in today's video, of course, you need to be a professional who thinks, hey, I've got some money set to aside. Now, instead of just putting it on a bank, I want to invest and make some money. Well, in this video, of course, I'm going to show you what the step-by-step things you need to do before you actually start as an investor. Now, people reach out to me tending to ask me, hey, Lucas, I like your videos. Thank you very much for the videos. And of course, it's my pleasure to shoot these videos for you, to share some information on what is investing and what steps you should take. Now, in today's video, I want to show you what steps you should take the moment you think, hey, I want to be an investor, and yes, I have money set aside, but I don't want to just leave it on the bank and hope that the bank will give me money in the end. I need to take control. Now, what are a few steps? So today, I'm going to discuss with you the 5 steps that you need to take when you want to become an investor and what steps to think about, of course. So the first step that you need to always think about first is the approach. What approach? And I'm spelling it wrong, am I not? Approach. This is an R and an O. Approach. So the first thing is, yeah, sometimes, I'm still human. I make spelling errors as well. The only thing is I don't make investing errors, okay? So the first thing is what you need to think about is the approach. What are you going to invest in? Now, there are different things, of course, and I'm going to grab a different color here. Just give me a second. Now, there are things like you've got options. You can do option trading. There are forex trading. Now, there are fund trading. And there are index trading, like ETFs. The first thing what you need to do is, what do I want? And there's, of course, shares. You can also buy shares of a certain company. So the first thing is, what is the approach? How would you like to approach this investment idea? If you want to invest for short term, maybe you got to think about the short term ideas. If you want to think long term, then you have to think, what long term investments will I want to do, and which ones are the ones that will make me the most money on the long term? And so this really depends on what phase you are in your life as well. So if you're, for example, already in your 50s and you think, hey, the kids are out of the house and, I have a little bit of money left and, me and my partner, we just, we want to invest the remaining part of the money so that we will have a good retirement. Maybe we can retire a little bit early as well, and maybe we'll have a pot of money ready for the kids in the future. That's a complete different story than compared to those who are in the mid-20s. So the people who are just graduated from the universities maybe and think, you know what, I want to invest my money that I can save up every month next to the money that I make, of course. I want to save up some money and I want to have this money grow over time. So that's a completely different phase. That's why all these different options that there are in investing, option, you see, there's no pun intended. But that's why it's very important to take a look which strategy works best for you. Sorry. Now, the moment you can think already 3 to 5 years ahead, I would always say the funds and indexes. Those are the best ways to make money. But we'll get to that in a later point, okay? So the first step, the first thing that you always need to pay attention to is your approach. What would your approach in investment be the moment you want to start investing, okay? So number 2 is decide. So the moment you've decided what approach you're going to use, decide the amount. The amount of investment. Now, I know that the word is invest. It doesn't fit on the board, okay? I'm sorry. So the second thing, what you always need to think about is you need to think about how much do you plan to invest? Because some people just have a lump sum amount, but if you're in this game for the long term, even if it's for a short term, you always need to think about how much do I dare to invest? This is the money that you're going to put aside, and this money is going to grow over time. Short time, up to 3 years. Long time, 3 years and ahead. That's very important. So it's very important how much money are you going to set aside. You always have to think about your emergency pot. Emergency pot, for example. You always need to have a little bit of money, at least put aside as an emergency fund. Now, I don't know how it works in your country, but in my country, we would always say, have at least 1,000 or two in your emergency fund. Because if your emergency pot doesn't have that amount, the moment something happens, you have no money left to pay this off. And the interesting part is, even in my country, the Netherlands, over 60% of the people in this country have no emergency pot that is greater than 1,000 euros. 60% of the people, the working people in the Netherlands, have no emergency pot that is greater than 1,000 euros. 1,000 euros. Dude, the average person in the Netherlands is making somewhere between 1,500 and 2,500 euros in a month. And they don't even have 1,000 euros on their emergency account to pay for things. Now, you got to think about that one. That is a very scary idea. In my case, it would be a very scary idea. If I don't have 1,000 euros on the bank account to be able to pay off emergency things, I don't know. If you don't have it, don't start investing, okay? Okay, so the second thing that you need to think about is, of course, your savings account, because it's very important to start saving as well. Saving is, of course, why is this? Saving is 1 to 3 years of money. So the money should be there for 1 to 3 years, okay? So the moment emergencies are over, you've covered that part, then of course you've got the savings account. The savings account is 1 to 3 years. Everything after 3 years becomes the long term. Okay, something just popped up here. I'm sorry, just give me a second. Give me a second, the machine just dropped. Okay, so yes, so the second thing what you need to think about is, of course, your savings account. So your savings account, you need to have some money on your savings account. For example, when you're going on a holiday, it is very important to have money put aside for that as well. Savings account money, it should be money that should be ready to use right away, the moment you want to use it. That's very important. So an emergency account is the necessary amount. The moment, I don't know, your washing machine breaks down, or the moment your car breaks down and needs repair right away. The moment there's a hole in your roof and you need to fix it. So those are things that it's very important that you have those money bits as well. Saving is you're saving up for a holiday so that you and your family can go on a holiday by the end of this year. That's the whole idea. Now the amount that is remaining, and I always say that either, it's 10% of the money you make, so the salary you make, of course, or 80% of your savings account that you could set aside, which is very important in this case, okay? So decide on the amount that you would like to invest in this. Very important. Always think about the amount of money, because, hey, you don't want to be throwing away money that you can't get out yet. Now, step number 3 is you need to open an account. You need to open an investment account. And in this case, it could be all kinds of accounts. So in the past, we're talking about 20 years ago, there were no online brokers. You had to do your investing through telephone or through your own bank, and they would have to tell you what you could do and what you cannot do. Now in this case, we've got online brokers. We've got different parties like E-Trade. I know that these are a few big ones. So there's E-Star Trade. You've got Robinhood. You have eToro. You have, just eToro. You've got Plus 500. So there are different parties that you can actually just join easily using your phone. You can just log in, and all of a sudden, the moment you start sending money to the bank account, you can all of a sudden start trading. And you can trade, like I said, in your approach, you could trade funds, you could trade stocks, you could trade shares, you could trade Forex, you could trade options, depending on what your approach is. Very important, of course, So the moment you start investment, you need an account. And now seems very simple, but all these different platforms have different requirements, have different different needs and different ways of it. So for example, Robinhood, it's commission free. So there's no commission the moment you buy. But sometimes some banks say, you know what, you need to pay a slight amount. You need to pay some money the moment you start selling, or the moment you do a transaction, you gotta pay, or the moment you sell, or the moment you buy. So there are always different requirements and different standards within each company. That's very important to take a look what all these accounts do. Now I'll tell you this, I use 2 different accounts to invest my money. Why? And this is gonna be the next one. I have 2 accounts. I have 2 investment accounts. Very important. Why? Because you always have to diversify. Diversify the situation. It's very important, not only your account, because if one account tends to lose money, the other account that you still have still works. If the one account is offline, I don't know why, you still have another account. So I use 2 online investment accounts so that I can make money and diversify. And this is not only diversifying your bank account, but it's also diversifying your shares and stocks. So like I said, in my approach, I always tend to buy stocks and funds and indexes. And the moment you buy, no matter if you're doing trading options or Forex or whatever you name it, the moment you buy, you always have to diversify everything. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because if it breaks, you lose all your eggs. And that is very important. We don't want to break one egg. We want to have several eggs, split over so many different things, so that if one egg breaks, we still have so many others. That's the whole idea. Diversify. Always diversify. Now, this is another thing. People always tend to say, okay, Lucas, I know that you're saying diversify, but hey, I'll tell you this. So one of my investor friends, he came across the people who thought of Angry Birds. One of my own investor friends said, hey, the people of Angry Birds came to me. And they said, this is game number 51 or 52. And, this is the last game that we'll design. What do you think? Are you going to invest in us? Are you going to give us money so that we will make this a great game? Now, my investor friend said, no, I'm not going to invest in you guys. And the guy said, okay, we understand. We'll go to the next investor. Let's see if we can find an investor who can, who's willing to give us money in the hope that this will be great in the future. Now everybody knows, of course, that Angry Birds, the whole company, is $1 billion company right now. So I'm talking to my friend saying like, hey guy, man, so don't you think it's a bad thing that you didn't invest in Angry Birds? He said, no. I said, why? Because he said, Lucas, I don't understand that business. And if I don't understand, as an investor, I can't even understand what they're doing. I wasn't even able to give them feedback on what they were doing. So the investor they found later on was able to help them out, because the original idea that they had until the idea that was published was different as well. And there was some slight changes, of course. And that's why he said you have to diversify and only invest in the things that you understand. If you don't understand your business in that area, then don't try to invest in those stocks, because it's not going to help you anything. That's very important. Invest only in the business you understand. Don't only randomly diversify, but also diversify in the areas you understand. Okay? Very important aspect. Don't only just randomly invest. Okay? And the last and final step is continue. The moment you have found all these steps, you've gone through all these steps, you've done all the checklists, you understand, the only thing is you have to continue doing it. You have to continue. This is, well, how to say this correctly? The moment you start investing, that's like the snowball on a huge mountain. You can't say like, you know what, halfway, I've pushed the snowball and it starts rolling, it gets bigger and bigger over time. You can't say I'll stop here anymore. You have to, the moment, this is the scary part. The moment you become successful, you understand it, you have to keep on going. And yes, you have to keep on making money and keep on using the money as well. And sounds very strange, but if you're in this game, and if you're in this game for real, you'll understand this. You'll have to understand that the moment you started pushing the snowball off the mountain, the only thing is you have to keep running behind it, because the snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger over time. And you have to continue buying, investing, and keep on making money. That's the only thing what you need to do. Now, the moment you read this, if you haven't started investing yet, you'll think, this is a bit weird to say that. I'll tell you this. The moment you are investing, you'll understand this. You'll understand that the snowball gets bigger faster than you think. And it goes faster than that you can follow behind that rolling snowball, and you're running behind that snowball. It's bigger and bigger. That's why the power of compounding is so strong. Same goes for the snowball. It goes faster than you really can believe. Hey, thank you very much. These are the 5 steps, of course, that you need to check if you want to start to become an investor as well. These are very important steps in your career as an investor. Now, don't be that slave to a job. Start investing today. Hey, if you like this video, of course, give me a thumbs up. If you want to learn more stuff like this, you can always check out my website, lukasshoe.com. And I'm also, oh yeah, just for this, since you're watching right now, I also have a masterclass that I'm teaching on this, not only little pieces, bits and pieces like this, but an actual full masterclass. It's over half an hour, so there is quite some time that you need to invest in, but it's a cool half an hour, and I teach all these stuff, all compromised in one masterclass. If you want to check out the masterclass, it's lukasshoe.com/masterclass. Go check it out, lukasshoe.com/masterclass. Check it out if you want to learn more, of course. Hey, and if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to me, because hey, I'm here to help you out with your investment questions. Thank you very much, and of course, have enjoying watching that masterclass, and I'll see you on a next video.